Hey, you fucking weeb. It's time to duel. Yep, Yu-Gi-Oh! The whole fucking nightmare. Do you remember the first time you heard that theme song and went, fuck Pokemon, I hate my parents. And you sent them to the Shadow Realm by summoning Dark Magician Girl in attack mode? Do you remember staring longingly at the Dark Magician Girl card and thinking, shit, I sure wish I was that, before going into the men's bathroom where you thought you belonged? Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! The real shit. And I'm not talking about the manga or the anime, I'm talking about the fucking card game. Ugh, I remember being a child and like seeing Yu-Gi-Oh cards for the first time and being like, oh no, Pokemon is cute and sweet and like I'm cries, but Yu-Gi-Oh has monsters. And oh god, do I love monsters. And then there were spell cards like this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. Just let this woman have something. Jesus. Did you know that spell cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be called magic cards, but because of the prevalence of Magic the Gathering, it got really confusing, so they had to change it to spell cards? Yu-Gi-Oh! And traps. Oh hell yeah, suck on this, America. You thought that you had me cornered, but guess what? No, you! That shit was so cool. I hope it never gets taken seriously by adults.
Hey babe, I just got some of these like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Do you remember those? Wanna play?
Fuck. Part 0. The rules. Strap in, it's confusing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very straightforward and simple game. Unless you read the manga or watched the anime, then you think that you can just do whatever you want. Fuck the rules! A typical game looks a bit like this.
Yeah, no, I just attack that and destroy it. That's all I do. Unless you can like attach a material to make the
I can negate the attack.
by attaching a material?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it can't be targeted by card effects?
This cannot be targeted by card effects, no.
Is that a target then? Can someone tell me?
No, that's a response. I think like things like Black Hole, Regeki,
Those don't target.
those don't target.
Yeah. See? Easy. Oh my god. Okay, look. I was gonna go over the rules right here, but then started to write them out and I realized that there were way too many of them and they were all really complicated and stupid, so we're just gonna skip them. Google it. Sorry. Basically, the goal of the game is to summon monsters, get the cards you need from the top of the deck, and find hackneyed ways to get out a ton of monsters all at the same time so you can bring out the big stupid monsters and then take away your opponent's life points before they do anything to you. Most of the cards have their individual effects and can be used to do combo stuff, and that makes them good. Not good enough, unfortunately, because I guarantee some asshole out there has invented a faster deck than yours. But I mean, you're welcome to try, I guess. Also, read the rulebook, but know that Konami doesn't fucking care what it says, so feel free to throw it in the ocean. Okay, don't do that, because we need to preserve our oceans. Oh my god, I just realized Yu-Gi-Oh! Absolutely contributes to the destruction of environments somehow, and oh god. Frequently asked questions are in the back of the rulebook.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe just click off of this video. Part 1. Get ready to hate yourself! So, you might not know this, but sweaty nerds all over the world still play this card game to this day. Matter of fact, it's incredibly popular. They still release new cards all the time and you can buy them at Target or Walmart. Or if you're a sweaty nerd or a communist, you can just steal them. The game is a lot different than how you may remember. Like, there's these blue cards now called Link Monsters. Not to be confused with ritual cards, which are the same shade of blue. They're the same shade of... and remember Fusion? Ooh. Well, now there's these cool white cards called Synchros that nobody plays, and XYZ Monsters, which a couple people play because the new blue cards are too good, and also people still play Fusions. Konami, what the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you just, like, commit to something? The planet is dying, Konami.
Okay, and also, there's these, like, weird other cards called Pendulum Monsters. See, like, their gimmick is that they're both, like, monster card and, like, spell card. And the way they work is, okay, so you have, like, these, like, zones on the board that are, like, these are the zones for Pendulum Monsters because they can be both a monster card and a spell card. So you can, put it there. And then now it does spell things, I think. But also, it can be summoned, I think. Because it's a monster. But it's a spell card. But it's a monster card also. But it's a spell card.
Part 2. The game. I can't put enough quotation marks around the word game. Okay, so you probably remember this game being pretty fun. You got 8,000 life points, and so does your opponent, and whoever kills the other first wins. Simple, right? Well, go fuck yourself, because now the game is miserable, angry, and fucking sucks. And by that, I mean it's competitive, and by that, I mean it's fast. The game is fast.
Hey, wait. It's only turn 2. How did you win?
Because I'm great at this kid's game. So now the game is fast. Like, lucky if a game lasts 5 turns fast. Remember traps? Yeah, those cards that you don't set until turn 2 and then you have to wait to activate? Fuck that shit. It's time to ride the lightning with these neat hand traps. Seriously, good traps are now played from the hand and the other ones suck eggs. Remember spell cards? Well, guess what? The only good spell cards are ones with this little insignia on them, which means they're faster and can be played from the hand or field. Shit! And remember back when you could maybe, if you were lucky, play one monster in a turn? Well, now you can just play all of them constantly. Seriously, tier 1 decks typically summon like 3 to 4 times a turn because of different card effects. So big monsters are what you're constantly dealing with. And most of the really good stuff isn't even affected by spell or trap cards, so say goodbye to Mirror Force or Raigeki and say hello to trying desperately to stop your opponent from doing the things to you before they do it to you. Yeah, the metagame now is trying to prevent your opponents from drawing, activating spell or trap cards or monster effects, and negating summons. Preventative measures must be taken. In a 40 card deck, like half the cards now are just condoms. And I know that feels like it would be just miserable and you look like Charlie Day in that meme, but that's just the fucking game now. And if you want to be the best, the very best, like no one ever was, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong game. You have to memorize everything that everyone does so that you can be sure to negate the important shit or you will be dead before your metaphorical dick hits the dirt.
So, why are we doing this again?
Because you bought the cards.
Oh, right.
Part 3, Psychological Warfare. Now this all seems very intimidating, and as a sweaty trans nerd myself, I really can't handle intimidation much at all. Please be nice to me, I can't. So what the fuck are you supposed to do if you want to play a game in any serious capacity? Well, it's time to fucking cheat. But in ways that are still somehow legal. That's right, you have to go back to the old school way of cheating. You have to fuck with your opponent's brain. You have to be cunning and manipulative and evil. And luckily for you, because I used to play this game semi-professionally and was the best at it, don't tell my peers that I said that, I can show you how. Ooh. Manipulation tactic number 1, the hand shuffle. So you know those videos of people playing Yu-Gi-Oh and they do that annoying thing with their cards like this? Yeah, that thing. A lot of people wonder what the fuck is wrong with you, and if you're okay, and if you need a glass of water, and maybe a Benadryl. But guess what? You're a psychological terrorist. Imagine it. Your next decision is the most important one of the game, and if you lose, you don't get that cool mat that people want for some reason. And your opponent is shuffling their cards like a goddamn machine, and suddenly you feel sweat on your brow, and you lay down a card, and you end your turn.
I'm gonna set these 2 cards face down. Wait, why did I just do that?
Ooh, no idea.
And that's gold.
Manipulation tactic number 2. Ask/give permission. So you're about to do your big play, and you feel pretty confident that you have everything you need to succeed. But you don't want to put all your eggs in one burrito? Isn't that's the saying? Hey, isn't that the saying? You put the eggs in... It's in a burrito, right? Summon?
I'll allow it.
You've just fallen victim to psychological warfare. Now you're fairly certain that your opponent has one of those stupid hand traps that could fuck your whole game up. There's no way you're falling for that one, silly.
Pass.
I fooled you. I don't have anything. You ignorant slut.
So, here's how you counter that. Ready? You just asked permission. Summon? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Congratulations, bitch, you just got permission. Boom! Manipulated! Manipulation tactic number 3. Siding out. In a traditional game format, you will play 3 rounds, and whoever wins 2 wins the set and advances, while whoever loses, definitely you, will go sit in the corner and sell your deck. So, you play the first round and win or lose. You now know what sort of deck your opponent plays, but now you can reach for a really fucked up game mechanic called the side deck. Basically, it's like 15 cards you can just add or replace in your deck to fuck with your opponent. No, I'm not shitting you. This is a mechanic. So no matter what, and I mean no matter what, always side out. Always. Because it gives your opponent the illusion that you have answers when you probably don't. It puts them on edge just slightly more. That said, you should actually put good shit in your side deck. One funny thing I used to do is not play traps in my main deck, and then on game 2, I'd side in the traps because they probably sided out anything that protects them from traps, and oh my god, it's so hilarious. Part 4. The ban list. As with every unplanned diabolical torture device, there are some things that will either end the torture far too early or easily, thus must be removed, and things that drag the torture out longer, making you give in to the sweet arms of death by your own hand. So yeah, some cards are way too fucked up and fast and devastating to an unfair degree, and then some cards like prolong matches for like a day, and they gotta go. Yes, there's a list, and it's long. The list is updated twice a year, and with it, people get reasonably and unreasonably upset. And there's extended discourse every year on what should or should not be limited or forbidden. And like any good distraction, everyone is way too busy talking about that to realize how much money they've given to Konami. So you may be looking through cards at your local shop, and you see some card that sounds really cool, and then you get it home and it turns out to be banned. So always check and make sure that what you have is tournament legal. But what's really funny is when people go out and they buy like cards that are worth hundreds of dollars, then in 3 months, those cards get banned, and the value drops to nothing, and then you've just got paper. Hilarious. It's great. Subpart. Judges and rulings. But another amazing thing is how rulings slowly get changed. Say if Konami really likes having certain cards in circulation but want to, limit them without a ban, they simply just change what the fucking card does.
Well, hey, they can't do that, right?
Why, yes. Yes, they can! There's a card called Giant Trunade. Well, guess what? Now there's a card called Hey Trunade that does the exact same thing, but with just slightly different text.
But why?
Because basically, this game is just law school. Yep, in order to play this child's card game, you better put on your suit and tie and get ready to defend your shit before a fucking judge. Yep, Yu-Gi-Oh has that. Rulings are made by judges who know the rules better than you, in theory, and you have to try and convince the judge that the fucking skid mark that you just left on your opponent's face was an okay and legal thing to do. Then they can either tell you yes or no, but unfortunately, you aren't allowed to call in an actual lawyer, so prepare to represent yourself. And if you're a nervous lady like me, congratulations, you probably just shouldn't be in tournaments. This game kills friendships, don't play it. Part 5, Economy. Yes, for real. So here's where I tell you the dark and ugly truth about what the game has become, and also what's kind of amazing about it sometimes. There's a tiny little economic system here in this silly game for kids that adults obsess over for some reason. Cards can sometimes go for tons and tons of money, and therefore Konami makes a whole bunch off of packs with a random chance of pulling them, and a whole bunch of little gremlins walk around selling cards under the radar, and also card shops spring up for a couple of months in some areas shortly before closing because they realize that selling paper with overhead is fucking ridiculous when binders exist. When cards are that expensive, only pros can play them, leading to a system where you have to spend a ton of money to prove that you're a good player at a skill game. It's like if you had to buy loot boxes to get guns that actually worked in video games. It's fucking terrible, and you can barely ever get ahead if you can't afford to really buy in. But sometimes a magical thing happens. Sometimes Konami announces a reprint of cards that are worth a whole lot of money, and then suddenly they're worthless. Then everyone can play them, and everyone at any skill level can be playing the same deck as someone at a tier 1 level. Then it truly is an amazing socialist utopia where we all get to have fun at the skill game together. That is until Konami decides to print another game-breaking card that shoots up in value from a new pack series, which happens just about every 2 months. Back when I was playing semi-professionally, the most expensive card was called Pot of Duality. It was an amazing replacement for something like Pot of Greed, which has long been banned for its +1 game mechanic. You could search the top 3 cards of your deck and take one, with the small drawback that you can't special summon the turn that it was played. Out of the pack, it was $160. I shit you not. So I saved up all this money and I bought box after box to get them, and I finally got myself a playset of 3. But then, shortly after, the game was changing and players like me started to feel left out, and I didn't know how to keep up with the constant economy, all the tournaments where I lost to decks more expensive, and the manipulation and the stress that came from playing with pros all the time. So I quit. And I sold my cards and I just moved on with my life. But upon picking the game up after a little curiosity... Hey, what the fuck?
What?
This is Pot of Duality. Like, this card was $100 back in the day when I used to play. But this is just a common. Weird. I can't help but think of, like, other poor people like me that were thrilled to be able to play the game with skill rather than money. While this game economy is still happening today, and in most tabletop games, upon returning to Yu-Gi-Oh, I realized that everything was a lot cheaper, and the decks that used to be thousands were now like $20 maximum. The game just kind of got a lot cheaper, and for people that are poor, like myself, it got a lot more fun again. Hi. So, as the owner of the video that you've just seen, I would like to remind you to consider liking and maybe consider subscribing. And did you know, I'll tell you here, but you can't tell anybody, I have a Patreon, and it's awesome, and we have a Discord server, and it's really fun, and everybody in there is super cool, and gay and cool. So join the Patreon. Anyway, I actually, what does the script say? I wanted to tell you all that I'm going to be doing a 24, what the fuck? We're doing a 24-hour stream?
Yeah.
To raise money for my gender-affirming surgeries? What? Unacceptable. Hold on. The date we've set is on the screen somewhere. Wow, that's very exciting. I have no idea where it is because this is long before editing. So the date is floating around for a 24-hour stream. That's 24 hours of content. And by content, I mean me and my girlfriend dicking around in our apartment. but for money. And one of the main things that we have planned for the 24-hour stream is Yu-Gi-Oh! Yep, that's right. We got new cards. We got a new format. People have sent us some cards to play with, and we're gonna try out some of the new stuff. And I hope that you can make it. That would be really, really cool. And maybe, you know, you can get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. Capitalism. Alas, now it is time for me to return to the Shadow Realm from whence I came, so goodbye.